Alright folks, so for the last of the videos in the intermediate section, I've picked a really short, easy one to do. So I'm going to stick with the same picture combination I had in the last couple of tutorials. I've just been building it up. So all this one is about is how to transform imported images, and I'm essentially going to be showing the same sort of stuff that I showed when we were doing the text manipulation as far as how to modify it. So there might not be really much new stuff here. It's purely just to show that you can do it to an image as well as to text. So I've still got this picture of Trump selected. All I need to do in order to transform, which essentially means change, is go into my edit menu, and that's where I had things like free transform and transform. Now I'll see if I have the same issues as I had before where it wouldn't allow me to rotate, because it's using the split screen system I've got set up to do the video tutorials. Sometimes things go a little bit weird and menus disappear and won't let me click on stuff, but you shouldn't have that issue on your computer. So if I go transform, I'm trying to go down to rotate. No, it's doing the same thing. So on yours, I'm just going to make my window move up a little bit. I'm going to click on the same option, but I'm just hoping that you'll be able to see a few more of the options. So edit, edit, transform, and you can see a few more of the options. So scale, rotate, skew, distort, perspective. So these are all ways that you can kind of squish your image around and move it and flip it and just get it to fit in with wherever you've pasted it. Alright, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to drag my image on my screen back down so that you can see it all. I'm just going to line it all up again. So in order to move this picture, I'm going to focus on the free transform, which is kind of like a combination of a few of those other options. So you can do things like the scale and the rotate and a couple more at the same time. So free transform, it comes up with a little box that pops around it, and it has some of those little squares on the corners, which we call handles, which allow us to grab and move things. So if I was to click on one of the corner handles and I move it around, then you can see that I can sort of shrink it, make it larger, make him look really skinny, make him look like he's really wide. So if I want to avoid that, I press Shift, and while I'm holding Shift and resizing, everything stays the same other than the size. So you don't get this sort of thing happening. Alright, it just makes the same ratio stick, but the overall size of that image changes. So when I let go of my mouse, I have to do that before I let go of Shift. So mouse let go, Shift let go, and then if I want that image to stay like that, all I have to do is press Enter, and then that little that box around my image disappears. Now I'm going to go back into there again. So I go Edit, Free Transform. This time, instead of clicking one of those corner handles, if I move my mouse out a little further, I get my little rotation symbol, and then I can click and I can drag that around. So I can move my image upside down, do whatever I want with it. Now, if I hold Shift, it locks it into certain degree chunks, so it's not quite as freehand, but that can make it really handy. If you want it to be exactly 90 degrees while I'm holding Shift, that is 90 degrees. If I let go, it's kind of hard to really get it exactly at 90 degrees, whereas holding Shift makes it really easy. Alright, so I'm going to put it back to where it was. Oops, I let go of Shift too early. Okay, so that's one thing. One of the other options we can do is if we move, I'm wondering if this one's going to allow us to skew it around. So you can resize it just by using those middle ones. But look, if you want to resize your image, I'd suggest never using these ones, because all that's ever going to do is stretch your image out of shape. So whenever you want to resize, it is always better to use the corner ones. Now, it looks like free transform in this case will only allow me to do the resize and the rotate, which are the most common ones which are going to be used. But I would encourage you guys to play around with some of those other options. So within the actual, press enter again, within the actual transform, so transform menu, and just see what they do. Because you can really squish your picture sideways and have it look really strange, but I can't show you much more on this this screen at the moment because I'm a little bit limited with what I'm able to do. So yeah, I guess your evidence in your portfolio it'd be pretty easy just to show that you've pasted an image in and you've got another image that you've flipped sideways and maybe resized. That would essentially be all that you would have to show for your transforming option. Alright, so that's the end of this short little tutorial video. It means that after this you're up to the next section, which is advanced. So well done. Just remember to always include all of your evidence. Okay, see ya.